As a great philosopher once said, no more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. Out for summer, out for fall, we might not come back at all.
Well, we got no class. We got no principals. We got no transaxulating relay. We can't even think of a word that rhymes.
All that and more. This week, we are talking about Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 9, 300th Night. Welcome again, everybody. I'm John Champion.
And I'm John Champion.
You were so close. It was right there in the script. You pulled a Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm Jessica Lynn Verdi, actually.
Glad to have you here, Jessica and John Champion.
John.
We are back with Mission Log Reactor. Of course, this is where we respond and react to the latest new Trek episodes as they happen. Jessica, can you believe that we're at the penultimate episode of Season 1 of Star Trek Starfleet Academy?
I can.
you can, because you've been doing them in order. So you're like, of course, that's where we end up.
But to be fair, I'm so discombobulated because you and I are grateful enough to get these screeners ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then we have to go back 2 episodes when we have our Mission Log live with our audience. So I'm always like, what episode are we talking about?
Right. And by the way, still no subtitles. And that's why people like me make a mistake like Bobby the Vulcan, which again, I'm going to stake my claim in it and just put money on it. Paramount, hear me out. Change it. Bobby the Vulcan.
Change it.
Yeah.
They can change it. ADR is a thing. It's nothing's precious.
Yeah.
And also, no matter what, we'll always have Bobby the Vulcan.
We will. All right. So, folks, you know how this works. If you want to share your thoughts with us, where there is a multitude of ways to do that, you can email us. You can @ us. Yes, you can. Or you can leave us a comment right here in the comments section of this video. Or wait, I have an even better idea. You can talk back to us live. That's me and you, Jessica. They can talk to us live. Join us Monday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern at patreon.com/missionlog to discuss each week's episode and share your thoughts. It is completely, you ready for this? Completely free. That's right. Patreon.com/missionlog. Free for Mission Log Live. And don't forget, Patreon subscribers, they get this very video a day early.
And you want this video a day early for only $1. And then you even get access to our Discord. It's a whole boon the second you commit at least $1 a month for us.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Now, what's also a whole thing is the knowledge that this whole video is rife with spoilers. So if you are, for some strange reason, watching this and you have not watched 300th Night yet.
What is wrong with you?
John, we're supposed to think it, not say it.
Oh, right.
We want you to press pause. We want you to hit like. We want you to hit subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Go watch the episode, then come back and listen to our full review. This is your final warning. John's sparing no detail like he likes to tell me, even though I spare so many details. And we're going to go for a full recap in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome to 300th Night. It's the end of the school year. The cadets are celebrating while the Athena makes its way toward Beta Z. Jaden leads his friends in a Klingon bonding ritual, the moment of chosen family before the break. But Caleb slips away for a quiet, incredibly long turbolift ride with Terima. She is composed, perceptive. She's even centered, and he, meanwhile, still feels like a walking heartbreak. Celebration is interrupted by alarming news. Admiral Vance informs Ake and Kelrick that Nusbraka has stolen a synthetic variant of the Omega particle from Starbase J-19 Alpha, along with other classified weapons. He's already detonated one particle inside a mine, shredding a vast stretch of uninhabited space, possibly a test run before targeting Federation territory. Amid the chaos, Caleb gets unexpected good news. Encouraged by Sam, he takes another crack at decoding messages from his mother. This time, the cipher unlocks. A lifetime of messages flood in.
Well, not a lifetime, 2 years.
Well, but remember, he was getting all this earlier stuff though, saying like, "Oh, you're 15 now, you're 19
No.
now." Yeah, no,
Did she say, did we get a 15? I heard
yeah.
19 and 20. And I heard
Oh,
him
okay.
say it's 2 years of stuff.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected then. I thought it
I'm
was
willing to be wrong. I
yeah.
don't need to die on this hill, but I was pretty sure he said I hadn't checked this since she broke out of prison.
Oh, okay. All right. You're right. You're right. It's hard to tell with a montage. Could be a lifetime. Could be 2 years. Could be
And it's yeah. And it might as well be. It all happens
sure.
in a blink of an eye, John.
Yeah.
This is the 300 night. We saw fall semester in big block letters. We see spring semester in big block letters in the openings of
Yeah.
specific episodes this season.
Right.
And when they did 300th night, it feels very Yuri's night to me.
Oh, yeah. I love Yuri's Night. Shout out to our friends at Yuri's Night. Yes.
It's just evoking that name for me. It's just I've never heard summer break called 300th night.
It's a cool pretext or pretense to have for this. Although if it's 300 nights of school, does that mean summer vacation is only 65 days long? Because that seems like a short vacation.
I think that's accurate. Oh, wait. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I feel like summer goes so fast anyway.
Yeah, it does. And maybe it's different when you're at a quasi-military academy like that. I don't know.
I just feel so sad for these kids that they have to party at their school. Like everything happens there. And but it's also funny that the atrium turns into they have the lighting structure to turn into a party.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
It is.
It's very funny.
Now, I felt like we were going to get a glimpse of Beta Z. I wanted to see that again. I wanted to see President Sadal. Spoiler, we don't actually get there.
We're literally heading there.
I know.
It's cool.
Too bad.
Great.
Too bad.
It was and there's talk. This whole episode talks about people we've met. Lura Thok is referred to but not seen. It's my biggest criticism of this episode.
I know.
I love the turbo lift moment. I just had to say
it takes 15 minutes. What is going on? And look, we have had this rule in Mission Log before that the amount of time it takes for a turbo lift to get from point A to point B is exactly the amount of time that the scene requires.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. And the reason why I love this is because that's also true in Grey's Anatomy. Almost everything happens in elevators. Yeah. So it felt like very much that kind of moment. At least sometimes they hit the stop button.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In Grey's Anatomy. Question, can a turbolift go sideways? Is it only up?
Yes, a turbolift can go in any direction that the tubes allow.
Right.
And I do think that there should be a button in there that's like emergency or drama. So if you hit the emergency button, you go really fast. If you hit the drama button, you just glide along really slow. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense because the Athena shouldn't be that tall.
No, right.
Where they're going shouldn't take that long to get there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got some side to side, but the way the light pattern was going, it was vertical. So, yeah.
So tell me about, were you I understand. I just feel mad that Caleb left the bonding ritual.
Yeah.
But also, did Occam need to be there? Or is Occam not part of the core?
Oh, yeah.
There's no Occam this episode.
Yeah, I feel like he's not part of the core, but then what's funny is from Occam's point of view, that must be a real bummer because he so needs to bro out with these guys.
And he's literally rooming with them.
Yeah, he should have been there.
He's been there for 300 days. How did he get exercise from this? I can sort of understand maybe Terima not being there. No, because Darren wasn't even on the Miyazaki with them, and neither was Genesis. I'm just trying to think who bonded with who. Poor Occam.
I know. That's too bad. He needs it too. Caleb, okay, but what is Caleb's plan? He's just going to, by the way, I like the bonding ritual because, again, a theme in Mission Log very often is about chosen family and how Starfleet works that way. So I really liked that. And it just felt Klingon, but it also felt kind of low pressure. Like Jaden is still feeling this out. And it's okay. Like you can do part of the ritual. You can just say the words, just thank you for being here. And that I thought
Yes.
worked, you know?
Yeah.
What is Caleb's plan? Just go hang out in the turbolift until Tarima shows up?
Yeah, like, where is he going?
I don't know.
Is he going anywhere?
I don't know.
No, it's a good point. He's just going, I'm just going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the turbo.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Let's see. Sam, already different.
You see it from the moment Genesis grabs her hand during the 300 night, Chancellor's log thing. You can just see a diff. And you know what? I give these young actors a little bit of guff. I give Carice a lot of credit for making a visual and like palpable shift almost immediately.
Yeah. Everything's different. I'm absolutely loving that, because that's something that Star Trek definitely does not always stick the landing with when it comes to having a character arc where somebody is different definitionally from where they were before. This really worked. I hope it maintains, and I hope it grows.
Well, and I'm more dubious of what previous Sam might have made people that were not so sure whether they like this show or not feel. So like you and I last episode, rightly so, criticized a little bit of how Tarima's written.
Oh yeah.
And Sam, and you rightly so, you were completely off put by the graphics going, am I dealing with a 5-year-old? And then it just took so long, even though it's short relatively, to understand why Sam was the way that she was. Did that turn somebody off before they got here with her? Right. But I will say this, and it made me feel like what we were talking about last week, which was you're on the way to becoming who you are. And she's kind of ruminating about her old memories and feeling like past regret or embarrassment. And I've been there, and I take a medication that helps me with that. But Caleb says the most beautiful thing to her: you were awesome, you were there in a bind, you were funny, and you still are those things.
Yeah.
And it was a really beautiful, even though Caleb left the family bonding ritual, he was showing her that she's accepted and she's loved for who she is, and no one's perfect. And even on the road to who she is now, she was loved and appreciated. And I think that's a really lovely sentiment that they just don't even spend that much time on, which is, I don't know. That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Now, I do have notes about Tarima and the Tarima-Caleb relationship, which we really only get in this opening part. But again, there's something weird here about Tarima just suddenly being the grounded, insightful one, and everything's fine. And this just is a very dramatic change from last week in an episode that you and I, again, had our criticisms about.
So let's give them the benefit of the doubt of a few months have passed, maybe, and she was able to be honest with them.
Okay.
She was only able to look at what she was going through her lens, because she says, I wish I couldn't read you so well.
Yep.
Well, if you could read him so well, why didn't you know what he was feeling when he was just like happy to see that you were back?
Right.
Right. But if you fill in the blanks, which we shouldn't have to do as an audience member, she was so myopic on what she was experiencing, she couldn't see what other people were feeling around her.
Yeah.
I do love the preamble of them acknowledging how awkward it is, and that because they've seen each other naked, they don't know where to go from there.
Right.
Like, I thought that was real in some sense, but yeah, like we just didn't see her get from A to B to Z, for lack of a better.
Well done.
Thank you. I feel very proud of that one.
Hey, we got the return of the Omega particles. So Voyager fans, of course, remember we have a whole episode about the Omega particle, but now it's the new and improved, and they could not help themselves but to append the 47 to that, because 47 is the magic Star Trek number. But that was kind of cool that we have a callback to something very specific from Voyager.
No, but the writers they're just AI, right? And they're not doing any research.
Right. They just push the AI Voyager 47, go.
This will mean something. Well, we knew Braca wanted something. Vance says it took us some time to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And they probably only figured out what it was when it was detonated. And Nala says the stupidest line. She goes, "I knew we weren't done with him." Yeah.
Yeah, duh. Of course.
What? What's even stupider, though?
Yeah.
I love Colbert. There's been some really amazing things that he's been doing on his actual show.
Yeah.
Delete the lines, people.
Hey, the problem
It's gotten worse.
Yeah, the problem is the character, whether it's an AI character or
not. A dean just having a microphone.
Yeah. But he knows he's funny and he's trying to be funny, and that it just doesn't work. Like,
and it's inappropriate. Like telling teenagers to keep it in their pants.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It's like in Greece, you have the character on the mic doing the school announcement.
Yes.
I'm sure, and it's like that. And she's making kind of accidental jokes, but that is a musical comedy. This, I still need a little bit of grounding here to buy what's going on. And that takes me out of it.
It does. Yeah. The Talaxian furfly stuff works.
Sure. Yeah.
We got it that it's going into the replicator.
Right.
It's really dumb, but that works.
Yeah.
But it's not adding anything. It's really only taking me out of it. And I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't. But if the jokes also weren't referring directly to the sexual nature of college students.
Yeah.
I think because it's an adult. I don't know. It's just really strange, John.
Yeah. I'm not buying it.
I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm all in on Kelrick going, you know what? Screw it. Screw orders. Let's go. Let's go look into Noose Braga's psych profile.
Competent Kelrick, finally. Yeah.
Competent Kelrick. We did not get enough Kelrick this season.
No. Yeah. And when we did, they made him the butt of the joke.
I think that was a really wise pull of you. You're really great at helping me realize,
no, you're great.
Right? Why? Oh, well, I know, but I'm just giving you your compliment right now. But I usually am a ball of feelings. And so I don't usually have the words. And so I knew the scene with them fell off when they were making fun of him. Yeah. But you succinctly put it so well. Why? And poor guy, he's just a weird bloke trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
And he has some strategy in mind. He's not perfect. I will say this. Ultimately, since this is the penultimate episode, and I'm curious if you agree, I'm glad he's not an antagonist or an op too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They almost set us up to be like, oh, he's going to be a thorn in Nala's side.
Yeah.
And they dismissed that right away. They showed us how Starfleet can work together, even if they're coming from different philosophies. And I like him. I like being on Team Kelrick with us.
Because honestly, we've had way too much in the last 10 years or so of Star Trek relying on, there's somebody bad in the Federation. There's somebody bad in Starfleet. And that's where the problem comes from. More than 10 years. It's been nearly 20 years. That has just been a recurrent thing, where we don't know how to create a new antagonist. Somebody
so we make it from the inside.
Yeah. And I'm so tired of that. I would rather see people coming from different angles, like you just said, and try to figure it out.
And they're showing us that. They really are.
Yeah.
And, we're seeing wonderful sides of Vance, and we're seeing the bones of Starfleet coming back together. Yeah. And we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
But and Kelrick is part of that. Vance is part of that, and Nala is part of that. Just bring us back, Laura Thok. Before we move on to the next act, there's no way in hell he didn't check that code since the mother broke. Not in a million.
I know.
It jumped the shark for me.
Yeah, that was
pretty stupid, pretty ham-fisted.
Of course.
All right, take us to Act 1.
All right, here we go. Caleb's emotional breakthrough becomes overwhelming when the decoded messages reveal that his mother is alive and located on the planet Ukek, a world outside Federation space and under threat now from the Venari Rahl. But the Athena is en route to rendezvous with the bulk of the fleet at Beta Z. Caleb chooses not to share this news, Instead, he hatches a plan, steal a shuttle, and jump ship at high warp. It's a bold plan. Questionable, ill-advised, very Caleb. Of course, it doesn't stay a solo mission for long. Sam insists that her technical expertise is essential. Durham, very drunk, tags along. Genesis makes it aboard just before the exit door slams shut behind her. The shuttle is rough, very dangerous, and just as things look precarious, Jaden and Tarima back on the Athena begin putting together where their friends have gone. The shuttle arrives at Ukek mostly intact, though not without damage. Among the affected systems, the transaxleating relay, and yes, that little detail feels very important.
Very important.
Yes, I'm glad we say it multiple times in the
transaxleating relay.
Yes. Now, Caleb does say goodbye to Tarima, and so what does she sense? Like doom or just the like emotional loss? That she's never going to see him again. It is a serious moment. I'm glad we don't dwell on it too much. He's just gone.
You know, this is very funny, and I love sharing my personal life stories and how it relates. I used to have a hard time going to sleep at night because I'm a night owl when I was a kid, and I would be afraid that because I would go to bed so late that I would probably die. I don't know. I was afraid that like this is where robbers come or it's witching hour. So I would write letters to my family that quite literally said, if I die tonight, I love you. And I'm sorry if I was a jerk today or whatever. But basically, like I was like really sad about however I acted that day. And like I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to tell my family I love them. I know. This is a really strange extrapolation to go to a very more serious topic. There's a thing in this current world that we're in. If someone sends you an out of the blue, I love you text or an I'm sorry, that's usually a cue that something is wrong and you need to reach out to that person or go to them. He's giving that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's not, forgive me, it's not suicide vibe. It's finality vibe, and I think a non-beta Z would pick up on that.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like strange, and he's saying, "I wish you nothing but happiness." Like it's so final, it's so weird.
Yeah,
and they haven't been that nice to each other or vulnerable. So I can't blame her for picking up on it. It's got a couple different layers. That's how Jessica's reading it.
No, it's good stuff. And then when we get into the shuttle. Again, I really like this version of Sam, the confident Sam, and self-aware enough to say that she hasn't done anything that hasn't been programmed, which
Love that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a weirdly existential problem to unravel, though, because everything is programmed to the extent that even you and I as organics, everything we're doing right now is a result of everything that has come before. So we are programmed to that extent. If you rewind it, play it back, we end up in the same place saying the same words we are right now. But she is asserting this thing that is, let's say, less likely for her.
Totally. And it is driven by loyalty. It is driven by love. It's driven by competence. And I know the feeling all too well. And I don't know about if you've done this where you've like done the thing actively that you know you're not supposed to do.
Sure. But here's the thing. Your brain has made that decision before you
the thing you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
When free will doesn't exist.
I always say this, free will to the extent that we are in control of our actions, no. But the illusion of free will that like you feel like you chose what you had for lunch today, that keeps us from going crazy.
I like that. I can live with that.
I can live with that.
I don't want to be in your brain. You think of like too big a thing. Like it was hard enough worrying if I was going to die at night because this is how scary my brain was. I understood the entirety of the universe could have just as simply as it happened, not happened.
Sure.
So I would try to contemplate the void and what the void would be like.
God, I love it. This is so adorably dark. I love it.
I know. I know. As an 11-year-old sitting in my twin bed going, oh God.
And look, you're fine now.
Totally.
Okay, moving on. So
I do love the shuttle moment. I'm mad at these kids, right? I'm mad. Genesis shouldn't be there. She volunteered to shut down the shuttle bay. Okay. And Darren is drunk. It's very funny. And they're all there. No, Craig's not. I'm sad Craig's not.
Yeah.
I guess you just couldn't like justify one more of the people like waddling in. But there was like a few other sci-fi nods in the shuttle takeoff.
Like what?
Well, like I felt like when Darren goes, whoa, it feels very Star Wars.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Star Wars going on in that. Yeah,
there's a lot of Star Wars, and then basically there was like a pull of many sci-fi worlds for this next section in total.
Yeah, agree, and I definitely will come back to a comment on that. I really like Drunk Darren because I talked about how much I hate actors playing drunk, mostly young or old. There's a lot of bad drunk acts in the world.
Yes.
This actually worked somehow.
Cute.
Yeah.
I find this actor super charming. Someone in our audience says I ship Darren with everyone. And yes,
that's
totally.
Good. That's good.
So hold on. Okay, we've been calling Bobby the Vulcan, whatever. When Kelrick and Nala are pouring over like the zone of where the Omega particle was and, looking at Noose Braca at her desk, she said, I can't believe they're not called Vulcan anymore. What the heck is she talking about?
Oh, okay, Navarre. So when we jump to the 32nd century in Discovery, we find out that Vulcan is no longer Vulcan because there was a planetary disaster, maybe an explosion. My memory is not quite solid on it, but yeah, Vulcan, there is no more Vulcan the way we knew it. So you have Navarre, which is the sort of combined planet for people who are Vulcan and others. And you basically gave them a new homeworld. Yeah.
So they had got it, but did they still call themselves Vulcan?
Yes. I believe they do sort of racially as a species. Yes.
Because she says, I can't believe they're not called I forgot they're not called Vulcan anymore. So I don't know if she was talking about the planet.
The planet
but
or the
also
people,
if you didn't watch Discovery, you're like, what the heck? Why are you changing this huge thing?
I know.
That's all. It just seems like a little it's too quick of a moment to throw away for such a huge piece of Star Trek lore. My question.
Good point. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to return to something real quick, the thing about Darren being drunk. So even though that scene worked, I thought it was funny. I thought it was played well. Can we just point out that at least 3 times now in this series of only 9 episodes that we have watched, they have used alcohol as like this crutch to get these kids to do something, to say something, to reveal something about themselves. It's just becoming a little too much, especially because we don't exactly know how synthahol works, if this is synthahol. These kids are young. We don't understand the rules here in the 32nd century about this. So it just is like this easy fallback. And I think we need to pump the brakes on this a little bit.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to give you another example of my life personally. When I was learning how to do improvised Tennessee Williams.
Wow.
Everyone, it was so much fun. It's a lot of heat. It's a lot of animals, a lot of, relationships, all those things. And you can't help but pretend and mime a glass of whiskey and a cigarette because you say Tennessee Williams, especially in a short form show, right? Like, I do Tennessee. You're going to, howdy, not howdy. You never say howdy. But smartly, in the middle of our, 6-month-long learning how to do this, halfway through, the director's like, do not grab another glass of alcohol and do not smoke another cigarette.
Yeah.
Because it can't be the only way your character drops in. Yeah. And it is inappropriate on 2 levels. They are too young. It doesn't, no matter whether they should be drinking or not, most of them are too young.
Right.
I do like the explanation that Darren has no enzymes.
And I think it's hilarious delivery on that. Yeah.
We like a lot of enzymes. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And I think what if I'm remembering it correctly, he got drunk off of what they drink in the ritual, so he just couldn't
Right.
metabolize it well.
Right.
I actually buy that over like Tarima drinking woodworm over,
Yeah.
from the sky.
Yep.
But I'm okay with it. But so like I said, they're too young, but Star Trek never leans on that trope of inebriated and then I can speak my mind thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's strange to put kids show kids that can't. I understand kids have a hard time being vulnerable in general. It's not appropriate for us to watch it happen this many times.
And again,
you're totally right.
We're literally talking about a third of the episodes so far. We
That's
have
such a
relied
great
on that
point.
as a tool.
Yeah.
So enough. We're done with that. All
No,
right.
I'm with you. And stop having Stephen Colbert talk about the cadets' pants, please.
By the way, Genesis has one of my favorite lines. One day I'm going to become a captain just to ruin each one of your lives.
I do also. Okay, so like we forgot to mention how you were like, okay, it was funny when the doctor said zygotes. Everyone else stopped saying zygotes.
Yeah.
And then Nala said it at the end of last episode, and it makes you want to puke.
Yeah.
What they're doing with Genesis is too much. We know she's going to be captain. Shut up.
Yeah.
So, but it is a good line.
Yeah.
But because they've hammered it and like us over the head, like she's going to be the captain, guys.
Uh-huh.
It made me go, I know.
Wait, isn't she still on probation here? I mean,
my point is, they're telegraphing so loudly that that's her trajectory.
Yeah.
That line was more annoying to me than it was funny, because it's like, hey, remember we said that she's probably going to be captain? Like it didn't read as funny as it could have if they weren't like hammering it home about her all the time. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, agreed. All right, shall we move forward?
Heck yeah.
Okay, back aboard the Athena, Ake and Jet Reno try to determine Noose Bracca's next move. Jaden and Tarima arrive with their suspicions confirmed. Caleb and the others have gone rogue. Ake makes a calculated call. When the cadets disembark at Beta Z, the Athena will proceed on autopilot toward the edge of Federation space, officially honoring her agreement with Admiral Vance. Unofficially, wink, wink. Meanwhile, on Ukek, the cadets attempt to blend into a volatile, lawless world already bracing for the Venari Rawl. They split up. Darum, Sam, and Genesis will search for replacement parts, while Caleb hunts for his mother. And by coincidence, or destiny, he finds her in a very crowded marketplace at knife point. But hey, it's Mom.
It's Mom.
It's Mom. All right.
I love knowing that when he hit her, it was her.
Yeah.
Like that was good telegraphing. It's movie TV language that really worked for me.
Well, that's one of those things that was like, again, of all the propositions a show like this gives us, we have to sort of accept, we have to sort of swallow the one either coincidental thing. You can't build a whole script around that. But if we're going to say, look, here's a planet, here is a city on that planet. It's like if I said, Jessica, your mom is in Tokyo. Now go find her. Probably not going to happen
to me. But she does say Ukek Market.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
He is in the location that she said I will be.
Yes.
So we just don't know how vast Ukek Market is.
Yeah.
But he does have a pinpoint on what part of the planet she's on.
That's a good point. Now, it is a cool visual. I was thinking Blade Runner. I was thinking Star Wars. If you go back to Picard season 3, Metalis Prime, the planet.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just like gritty and lived in. And we don't get a lot of that in Star Trek, but I think what we get is just enough.
I just thought it was really funny how they were able to replicate the uniform so perfectly of looking like these roads or like, like, oh, we belong here. Yeah. I do think it's kind of stupid that they have their badges on.
Yeah, and you have to point out, no, you got to hide it. Like, like put it under your shirt sleeve, like get it out of the way.
But did they need it? Like, why would they have brought their badges along?
Well, I guess so they can find each other if they get lost.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's right. Well, so I gotta say, just like kind of, we finally get to Caleb's mom. It's been the whole season long journey, right? And I felt so sad for Caleb when he was listening to 2 years of this mother.
Yeah.
Trying to reach out and like talking to him like he's going to hear the next one. And it's just like so sad. I couldn't tell you if when we finally get to see her and, you know, the way she realizes he's following her, she looks kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, she is changed. And
Yeah.
I'm curious because we get a lot out of her in this episode, and I'm curious definitely how this will wrap up and if there is more to her after this season. But yeah, there is something a little unsettling in a few scenes with her.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think that's right. Like, and this is just, you know, to Tatiana's credit, she's such a wonderful actress. And so I know she's making the choice to be wild-eyed and nervous and, you know, around every corner. She's basically pretended to be dead so that
Yeah.
Brocca doesn't come for her. So when Nala sentences her to the work camp, it wasn't supposed to be prison, right? But
Right.
she's calling it prison. And she was supposed to be there for 25 years. That was the reduced sentence. What the heck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you know, look, for Nala or anybody else at the Federation, like, you should be checking in. You know, you really need to have an eye on what's going on over there. This is your responsibility. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah. I do like the doctor showing concern for Sam. I mean, it's just a quick moment, but you drive home like this was a transformative experience for him and her in the previous episode. So that was cool. And I want to talk a little bit about direction here, because I'm going to come back to that in a final summation. This episode directed by Jonathan Frakes, wonderful guy, wonderful director. And you have this scene where we get to show and not necessarily tell, which is great. And he just lets the camera linger on faces in these close-ups. And I love that the establishing shot actually comes last. And that
what scene are you talking about?
So when they reunite right before the end of the act, okay, so the knife comes out, and there's this realization, close up, mom, and you know the realization actually washes over them, and you get this hug, you get this embrace, and the camera, it's not very clear, it's not like a perfect shot, but you're really close on eyes, getting these reactions, and you're doing all that, and you wait until the end to pull the camera back and show where they are in this kind of long corridor of this market. It's a nice kind of almost Hitchcock thing to do, where you just spend your time on the emotional thing up front and then get out of the way. Well done.
That's so interesting, because that moment does land.
Yeah.
And I don't think I understood the visual language for that. That's very cool to point out.
And just even from an acting standpoint, which I know you get for sure, you know, just they don't have to say what's going on. And Star Trek, again, has this tendency to telegraph by letting the characters speak exactly what's on their minds. And here you don't have to.
No. And the reunion is beautiful and is emotional, as opposed to, you've been gone for 2 years.
Yeah.
And, you know,
right.
And we watch them both realize that they still love each other, that no time has passed yet. A lifetime has passed, and she recognizes it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's it's just like nothing it's just you can't not love a mother-son story when it's done right like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's continue with how the story unfolds. All right. Caleb and his mother, Anisha, reconnect in a scene that's tender but charged. There are tears, there's relief, and there are strategic omissions. Caleb withholds key details, his enrollment at Starfleet Academy, and exactly why he heard from Noose Brocca. Anisha admits that she heard from him too, and she has been avoiding him ever since. When Sam beams in, Anisha is startled. When the rest of the cadets arrive, she grows suspicious. Caleb calls them friends from all over. Anisha doesn't trust anyone with clean fingernails. They work together to fabricate a new transaxulating relay, but Anisha insists that cadets must leave. The Venari Rawl are arriving within the hour to claim Ukek. She intends to leave with her son, and Caleb begins distancing himself from his classmates. If necessary, he'll convince them and himself that he doesn't need them. Back aboard the Athena, Ake and her skeleton crew try to decipher Nusbraka's strategy. Their work is interrupted when Jaden and Tarima are discovered hiding in an airlock. Once secured, attention turns back to the missing shuttle. Admiral Vance's silence speaks volumes, and Ake makes the call, set course for Ukek. On the planet, evacuation plans collapse quickly. Anisha promises to secure transport for herself and Caleb. The others are on their own. Then everything spirals. The cadets are identified as Federation members, arrested as spies, and publicly condemned in what will inevitably lead to their execution. In the chaos, Caleb admits the truth. These are his friends. He is one of them. And Anisha realizes exactly what that means.
It's a thing.
Yeah. This whole act, I love that we begin and end and very effectively get through this layer upon layer of tension. With their reunion, like I said, it's sweet, it's lovely, and you just know right from the get-go, oh, they are holding certain things back. They cannot tell each other the truth. So there isn't anything easy about this, even though it's wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so, because they had to both be on the run, because they both had to not trust the situation they were in ever, that does translate to them not being able to trust what's happening between them a little bit. You buy, though, that she wasn't part of Noose's plan, that she just used him, or did you think that there's more there? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's hiding something that nefarious, but it is interesting to watch Caleb try to play a few steps ahead.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the kids didn't have this conversation when they're on their 50-minute jump warp. Like, hey, my mom's gonna love that we're from Starfleet. So, like, it's just, but they pick up on it really quickly, which is great.
Yeah.
Just the white fanging moment is so sad when he's like trying to get rid of them. But I do love them working together to build the transaxulating relay.
Yeah. Well said. Yes.
Thank you. You can see the mom like mom like son kind of thing.
And that's the thing. So in a single act, there are so many layers going on there. They play that really nice moment together. There are moments where Caleb and Anisha are aligned. There are moments when they are at odds. Like, we get through a lot here in this one act, and it all is fed by the character information we've gotten up until now. So I think all of that is well done. I do like the scene of Caleb trying so hard to break himself away from his friends. It is all the subtext because everything coming out of his mouth is not the truth. And I love Sam calling him out. I love Genesis calling him out. These are great moments.
Sam hugging him.
Beautiful.
Is actually a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
That the bubbly girl that we got to know, who has now had 2 little lives, hasn't lost her optimism and her heart. It was like the Sam that, like he said, the Sam that we love is still here. She knew, and she wouldn't let him push her away. Yeah. And it was beautiful. It was the exact, I was like bracing for, what are you going to say to Sam? Don't say it.
I know.
And I'm so glad they didn't let him attack her. Yeah. And the choice to hug him was so much better and so powerful and sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think Genesis knew he was going to come back around? That's why she said, don't waste your breath? Or
that's a good question. Yeah.
I felt like it could be read both ways.
It can. I mean, either she trusts the friendship or she's doing what he's doing or doing what she assumes he is doing, which is cutting that tie so it's easier to say goodbye. You could see it both ways. Yeah.
Totally. I was kind of sad that Crag didn't get in on the mission.
Yeah.
But it was part of the last act, but I love when Nala's like, you two look guilty as hell. And it's so friggin' great. And then I love the implication of when they find them in the airlock with the pressure.
So good.
So what the implication is to me is that people go in there to hook up.
Yeah, right. They know. Everybody knows this trick except for the adults.
And I love the exasperation on all like, well, that's a design flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. So it's a genuinely funny beat that you don't need to telegraph the way we're doing with all the Stephen Colbert lines. Like that works in context, and that's what makes those jokes actually land. Yeah.
100%. We would have gotten there whether he said the storage closet joke or not.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, one last thing I want to point out in this act is at the very end, when Caleb reveals what's going on, Anisha realizing that they are Federation. Remember, she's covered up. Most of her face is covered with the wrap, and all you see is her eyes. And by God, if her performance just sells exactly everything going through her head with this realization. So good.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing payoff.
Yeah.
Of having this actress. I knew we were headed towards something phenomenal in performance because they hired her.
Yeah.
And I really don't say that lightly about an actor. It's another improv thing. If you make a promise to an audience that something is coming and I'm not going to tell you, and right. It better be an amazing reveal.
Yeah.
And if we don't see the mom, but that's the whole drive for us this season, we better see why.
Yep.
And, it was sad enough that she had been actually trying to reach out for him for 2 years. You could have filled in a lot of blanks. Our audience has on Mission Log Live.
Yeah.
There was some really interesting theories as to what was going on with Anisha.
Yeah.
But what I think the reward we get in having waited so long is exactly what you're saying here, is just this performance that doesn't actually need to be explained all that much, but totally felt.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring it
Ready
home.
to take us home?
Let's see what happens. All right. Genesis, Sam, and Darum are handcuffed and interrogated. Federation tech laid out as evidence. Darum, in particular, is absorbing the physical intimidation. Anisha tries to spin a cover story. It barely holds. And then a communicator goes off. But Caleb improvises, making up a story about something going on down an alley. But the transmission leaks just enough for Ake and her crew to hear, and they now know two things. They found Caleb's mother, and the cadets need extraction immediately. The standoff erupts into a firefight, and Anisha is hit. Right on cue, and way too close for comfort, the Athena swoops into the atmosphere for a low-altitude beam-out. It is a gorgeous, reckless rescue. But the escape is brutal. Venari Rahl ships give chase, tractor beams lock on, weapons fire pounds the hull. Outgunned and trapped, Ake pulls a bold maneuver, saucer separation. The Athena splits, the saucer breaking free while the nacelles and atrium are left behind as bait. It is a classic Starfleet move with a 32nd century edge. They clear the system. In sickbay, Anisha receives treatment. The cadets breathe, and then the larger horror lands. Federation space is surrounded. Omega mines, those synthetic variants, form a perimeter. Federation worlds are boxed in, and the Athena is on the outside. And finally, Ake walks into sickbay to face the woman she sent to prison 15 years ago, Anisha Mir. To be continued.
Ooh.
Yeah, right?
Not a bad cliffhanger.
No, because here's the thing. I think the cliffhanger has this weird silence to it. And in fact, I really like Jet Reno's voice, just Mayday, Mayday, and you keep pulling back and back and back and realize the vastness of space. And there's no histrionics, there's no yelling. There's just Ake walking into that room. And again, that look just, so great.
This has got to be Frakes, right? Like,
I really
just knowing.
Look, I always wonder when a director like him, well, like any good director, when you get a script, if you look at it and you go, hey, this is overwritten, because what you really need is just the reaction.
Yeah.
Trust the actors to do that. And they do. So I don't know. Maybe it was written that way. If only I could take a look at a script.
I'd be really curious, but too bad we'll never know. But I think that is the beauty of getting these tenured actors.
Yeah.
And if you let them go and do their thing, it gets us on the other side. And I am excited for the next episode because of that moment being allowed to linger. I feel so sad for Anisha when Caleb pulls away, but I feel so proud of Caleb when he pulls away, because now you're understanding he loves his friend. We know he does, but he has to go back.
But these are the great moments where the motivations line up and then the actions are informed by those motivations. Because then you and I, the viewers, we are tapped into sort of the emotional reality of what's going on. That makes all of those decisions actually have stakes.
Yeah.
That is well done. And I feel like a lot of what we've gotten up until now, some of it has laid the groundwork for this, but some of it has just felt like these diversions. Like, we're going to tell a funny story now. We're going to do this other weird thing now. We're going to have the YA romance now. And yeah, there are pieces of that you could point to and say it informs a character. But then you have an episode and moments like this where you get to say, wow, okay, all the relevant groundwork has payoff.
That's exactly right. I think the best way I can surmise it is I don't think I'm a huge fan of serialized Trek. I think that's just what it boils down to. I don't think they've figured out the formula to it. And I'm questioning just the overall creative choice to deviate so far from that.
Yeah.
But there is payoff. And I think they're figuring out the formula if this is the way they're going to continue giving us Trek.
Yeah. It's a tricky line. Like, I think you can do episodic standalone stories, but what really is satisfying is when you get character arcs that make their way through a series. And, Strange New Worlds has been hit or miss with that. Discovery, hit or miss with, Discovery was serialized by design, so they definitely had more leeway to get those character arcs nailed. But Strange New Worlds, by design, more episodic. But when you get the character payoff, it's very good.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning of this act. I feel like that standoff scene and leading into a fight, it was good. It was energetic. The tension was effectively built, but it was also a dark scene with a lot of people in dark clothes.
That's a Game of Thrones criticism, right? Like, it couldn't see anything. I think I also just didn't know who these people were that apprehended those three.
I didn't know if they were Venari Rawl. I didn't know if they were a planetary defense. I don't know exactly who at all.
And so this is just, I'm allowing myself to be ignorant in public. Annexing means that the Venari Rawl is taking this from another territory?
Or if Ukek was just purely independent and Venari Rawl says like, oh, we would like that. Thank you, Ukraine. We'll take that as our own. Uh-huh.
It's just so interesting that like, get out of here within an hour. And they do say we found the Starfleet spies and tell news. So you kind of get it after, but you're right. It's a little like, they're in trouble, but how come? Or what's happening? Or poor Darum. Like, it's interesting. I have another thought when it comes to the Venari Rawl, but God, do I love that shit flying in. I feel like they blew their wad a little too soon. But at the same time, it's so effing cool.
It is magnificent. Again, something that Star Trek has tried in other contexts every now and then. Like, wouldn't it look cool to have this massive, powerful starship in the atmosphere? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Does it disrupt what's going on? And this one did, and it was cool as hell.
It was the right way to do it. They set it up. We didn't need to know more. And then that's the only option. And I love Sam going, now that's a flex. It's it's a little modern. It's a little cheeky. It totally works for me. But like I said, like, I'm surprised they didn't pull that stunt in like season 2, but you know what? They're like, let's just go for it. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, yeah. I love Jet Reno under fire because the sarcasm just stays. She's
I
great.
do question how they've been, 800 years removed away from money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, more than that, because we didn't have money even in the 23rd century. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So 900 years removed from money. And she goes, I bet my money on it if we still used money. Shut up.
Yeah.
Make a different joke.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
There's been a couple anachronisms like that don't fit in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a really nitpicky thing to say, but it bothered me.
But if we're not going to nitpick here, where are we going to nitpick?
Where else?
Yeah.
I do love that the mom does come, Anisha's like, she sees what's happening and she's the first to offer help.
Yep.
Or at least like, oh, these kids are stupid, trying to get the heat off them. The Caleb comes in. He's also being tactically smart. He's letting Ake know what's up, but also getting the heat off of them for having the deltas. I love that Anisha shoots first. She sees what's going on. And as the woman starts coming towards her, I know who you are. And she basically Han Solos.
Yeah.
It is. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. And this is a great character. This is the kind of character you need because Starfleet traditionally can't be that. You can't have the instigators. So now you have a character that you can allow that kind of freedom to drive a story and make a bold decision like that. Pretty cool.
It was the only option at that moment. Sure. And you're right. It's still not a Starfleet option. If someone were to do that in a Starfleet, they'd be getting court-martialed.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if they were about to die. Yeah. So my question is, when they beam everybody up or whatever, and they are getting tractor beamed, split in 3 by Venari Rawl.
Yeah.
And she goes, separate the saucer, leave the nacelles, whatever. It's an option.
And leave the atrium.
Exactly.
Yeah. Still, I need a map. Somebody, please give me blueprints.
Because I would have thought where the delta is, it's on the saucer. I thought
too. Yes.
So, yes, they're basically literally abandoning the school in so many words.
Yeah.
But if it's New Spraka, and it's the Venari Rawl, and they know what this ship is and who's on it, why would they let the saucer go?
Oh, yeah.
Like she was betting on their pirating nature.
Right.
But they gotta know this is the Athena.
You'd be aiming at that.
I just need to mix. Yeah, it does. I just don't understand. It feels a little contrived to me that they go, oh, good, they're not pursuing us.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe that's a gimme. She does say they're not going to keep my ship. Good. We know we're going to get it back.
Yeah.
I'm curious how them having the atrium will play in the final episode of season 1, if it does at all. I found that a little hard to swallow.
No, but it is interesting. Okay, the saucer separation looks great, and that's just a cool Trek thing we get to do from time to time.
Love it.
Originally conceived back in the TOS days that the Enterprise could do that. Of course, we never saw it. And
it was a TNG movie when we first see it. Is that correct?
No, first in the pilot in Encounter at Farpoint they did it, and then they did it again in the movie in Generation.
It was a movie. That's how I first saw it.
Yeah. But I think there was also another way to get yourself out of this position. Like, okay, we only have so many people. We could beam into a shuttle. We could do something else that makes our escape even more plausible.
I don't. But then you're losing the whole ship.
Yeah.
If they,
that raises the stakes, doesn't it?
It sure does. And you know what? That maybe would make me change my initial statement, which was kind of cool cliffhanger. Yeah. It would have been a really big cliffhanger.
Yeah. But it is a good cliffhanger. I mean, I said it at the top that it just, I think seeing Scale, I think seeing Ake with Anisha, I think just ending with Jet Reno saying Mayday, well played. Yeah.
We know everything everyone's going through in that moment.
Yep.
And they're not overtelling us, and it's a big deal. And I'm in, you could have made the argument in Come Let's Away that a lot of the stakes were manufactured. And as someone in our chat brought up a really good point, so many things had to go right for New Spraka to make that work.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where all the things went wrong for this to work.
Yeah.
And all the emotions building up to it. I don't know how they could have. I was prepared to be disappointed on how we would get Mom back, and I'm not yet.
Yeah, right. Good point. Okay, so let's wrap it up then. We've only got one more episode to go in the season, but looking at 300th Night, give me your standout moment, please.
It's Caleb's mom shooting first. I can't even curse. I want to curse so bad. It's so sick. It's so badass. She's such a cool. I feel a little nervous about the mom.
Yeah,
I'm like, ooh, she's. What is this side of her going to net in the last episode, especially?
Yeah.
But I love that she's like, screw it, I'm just going to shoot. Yeah. It's great.
I got to say, mine actually, there are so many good emotional moments that I could just point to and go, oh, the acting here was great. The acting here was great. This was earned.
Yes.
I got to come back to the Athena being in the atmosphere at Ukek.
We're simple creatures.
It just looks cool.
We're ordinary men. It's such a cool
We're just ordinary men.
We're just men. We're just ordinary men. If you can't just unabashedly say something's cool and that's why you like it, I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job. So now, do you have any questions? Like you said, coming up to the last episode.
Yeah.
Anything that needs to be answered, hasn't been resolved, outstanding questions going forward?
Yeah, so it's partially contingent on the question of what is up with Anisha, because that is a little question here going into the next episode. But really, it's about the bigger question, like, who is Caleb at the end of this process?
Ooh.
Because, he fake dumped his friends, but he's actually got to pay the piper here at some point. He's actually got to either have a reconciliation with his mother. Is she going to be able to change her values and realize what he's doing is okay? Or does she not? Does he just become another Starfleet orphan because of their mismatch of ideals? This is what he's been waiting for 15 years.
And probably scared of, too.
Yes. So
now,
what about you?
Well, no, I just want to live on that for a minute, because I think you're exactly right. Way to go, Star Trek, for giving us really at odds character motivations that we totally buy. I mean, I think those are good questions. Yeah. For the most part, I'm just curious, kind of, in a less verbose way as you. Is Caleb's mom crazy? Yeah. I'm nervous. Like, how that will. She just got a little unhinged, so I'm nervous for what that means. And this is not like a story question. I'm just really sad that they introduced us to Lieutenant Ya. Where is she?
Please, where is Lieutenant Ya? Because I need to know.
Where's Occam? Yeah. Like, you do need to know. But like, you've introduced us to, why is no one on the bridge?
Yeah. Right.
Why? What is that? Yeah. And so I don't think we're going to get an answer, but I'm just openly, and maybe the audience, our beautiful viewers, have an answer. What the heck? Who are these people?
Yeah.
All right. John.
Yes.
I need someone to bring it home.
Okay.
And my cat is sitting right behind my camera. He can't.
Okay. So I guess I will. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the soapbox. Okay, here we go. I do have a final thought or two.
Great.
But before we get into that, I want to take you back, dear listeners, and Jessica. I want to take you back to episode 1 of Mission Log Reactor, okay? Because I stated something there where I said that the Federation, aka Starfleet, you can parse those however you want in this.
Sure.
But sometimes they kind of feel like the man, right? And are we going to explore that here? Because we're having to put all of this back together and we're having to sort of justify their roles in the universe. And we remember we had this great monologue from New Spraka calling them, what did he say? It was
chlamydia.
Bureaucratic chlamydia. Right. So you have to justify all these things that maybe don't fit in the sci-fi pretext of the 32nd century, but may also feel out of date and hokey now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because look what happens here. In this episode, we get a big triumphant moment. The Athena swoops in, and we got weapons later, and they beam out the stranded cadets, and it is so cinematic. It is so cool. It is heroic, and we are absolutely rooting for them. But let's be honest about why they win. They win because they had the biggest, baddest ship, and they have the best weapons. That's what it comes down to. Now, look, in no way am I defending the Venari Raw, but in another context, this would absolutely be framed as a moral dilemma. Imagine Picard just going, I'm going to get my people out, dive into the atmosphere, forget anybody else, beam them out. You know, he didn't do that for Wesley Crusher in Justice. He had to talk his way out of it there, right?
Yes.
So what we have is a technologically superior power enforcing its will. And look, we're going to cheer it because they are our heroes, but I think we also have to sit with that tension a little bit and allow ourselves to ask, like, how does this frame against Starfleet / the Federation's role here? Okay, but let's talk about the character side of things, because I think this episode really delivers. Caleb's arc pays off beautifully. Tarima calls him out earlier, and, you know, he's the guy who runs, and Sam identifies his compartmentalizing of everything. He has built this whole identity around pretending that he doesn't care. So when he
even Genesis says you're trying, so you can't let go of your childhood,
right?
Or you're the broken boy.
Exactly. So then he gets to a crisis point where he finally has to choose, when he admits that those are his friends and he is one of them. And that really lands well because, again, the groundwork was laid beforehand. Now, where the character stuff falters a bit for me, again, I have to go back to Caleb and Tarima, because week to week, I'm not sure what version of that relationship I'm supposed to be invested in. Because sometimes it's deep and earned, and she's the one with all the insights. And sometimes it's volatile just because we're going to say young love, and that's what it is. Sure. And then, like I said, you know, suddenly she's mature, she's grounded, and it feels like a developing relationship, or I should say it feels less like a developing relationship and more like a collection of scenes.
Or a toxic relationship.
Or toxic, right. So, look, I don't need it to be perfect. I want all the ups and downs. I want the nuances, but I feel like the continuity is getting off the rails about what we should feel for them.
We need one more drunk episode, and then it'll be sorted.
No, please no. 40% drunk. That'll be our definition of this season, right?
Right.
Okay, but again, let's pull out. Let's look at the episode as a self-contained unit of Star Trek, right? This episode, more so than a lot of what we've seen so far, I think it feels confident.
Ooh.
Right? And I don't know if that's Frakes. I don't know if it's the script, but look, it lets action breathe. It lets the quiet moments have their time to land. And like I said before, it trusts the actors. So that might be our director's hand. It might be just certain maturity in the script, but whatever it is, that formula, that combination works. And there are very few wasted beats in this at all. I think so far, Sam, this is one of the biggest wins of the season because she is fundamentally different after last week, and we let that change stick. And that is a bold thing to do for a show that is already 9 episodes in. And then I'm going to go to your favorite here, Anisha, because it is just complexity on top of complexity on top of complexity.
But not so much so that it's convoluted or feels forced.
No, not at all. You just feel like she has got to be at odds. Her suspicion is earned, her confusion is earned, the emotional relief, but also maybe fear is earned. Caleb's loyalty is split between the found family. Let's go back to the top with Jaden's blood ritual, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So he's got his loyalty to his found family, but also his biological family here. 15 years of absence doesn't erase the blood bond between these two.
Right.
And of course, Anisha distrusts Starfleet. That is profound.
And you can't blame her.
No, you can't at all. You can't at all. And from her vantage point, let's go back to this phrase again. The man imprisoned her and used her son and shaped him into something that she does not recognize. So here are the big questions going into the finale. Can the Federation actually make the case for itself? Not just that it's powerful, we saw that, and not just that it wins, because we saw that too, but is that right? Because if Caleb is going to choose Starfleet, and if this series is going to argue that this institution is worth believing in, then it has to prove that its power serves something better than dominance. And that is the story that I'm interested in seeing them finish.
I love all of the things you're saying. And what have we talked about, and what have you talked about in Mission Log for nigh on 12 years now? That science fiction and Star Trek, when it's at its best, is doing a good job reflecting back to us what we're experiencing in our life. And you might be able to go, okay, I'm this version of that. You know, what are we experiencing with otherizing people or whatever? I think you're making a really good case for the Federation being the United States, the most quote unquote powerful unit on the planet. To what end? Morally justified or not, do we use and wield our power appropriately? Because 11-year-old scared Jessica used to be so grateful I was born in this country because of our power and our safety, but at what cost?
Yep.
It's an interesting reflection of our current state, from a science fiction standpoint.
Hey, look, we're biting off big themes here. We're biting off the annexation of Ukraine. I'm sorry, I meant UKEC. My bad. Sorry, that was just me slip at the tongue.
We're going to have to find a new host. That was very unprofessional. Get it right or pay the price.
I know.
Sean, I love doing this with you. I'm sad that there's only one more episode, but we will have a full wrap out to what's really exciting is that not only do we get to share our thoughts, we get to hear the thoughts from our audience, our mission loggers on Monday night after this airs at 7 p.m. PT, 10 p.m. ET, or 9 p.m. CT, which I tend to forget, even though I'm in that. It's a blast talking about it with you guys, especially because you help us see things, at least me, I didn't see. Because really, John and I are giving you our first blush reactions. And you guys get to sit in it in a different way. So we're kind of just going, oh, I didn't even think of that. So I look forward to those.
Those are the moments that I love. When somebody says, oh, wait, you missed this. Oh, but what about this? It's the best. And by the way, Jessica, correctly, you called them mission loggers. I'm also going to call them our Star Trek pals. We are your Star Trek pals. You are our Star Trek pals. Yeah, I'll get you a coffee cup. Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll get there eventually. I just don't want to dismiss mission loggers. I don't know. Anyway, John.
Yes.
Who are we to each other? We're pals too.
Pals.
Is that right?
We're Star Trek pals now. We're Roddenberry pals as well.
That's we are Roddenberry pals. Well, until next time, this has been Mission Log Reactor.
Yes, and please, like Jessica said, always do what she says. I know that I do. Join us for a live chat on Patreon Monday night. And we'll be back next time reacting to the final episode of Starfleet Academy. Sarcastic.
Sarcastic. Don't listen to me. Don't do what I say. Goodbye.